Hi, my name is Andrew. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to explore targeting micro venture capital firms for startup capital in 2024. A bit of information about myself. I'm a fundraising strategist with 15 years of experience in high-end real estate sales and marketing spanning Canada, Dubai, and the Caribbean. Over the past 2 years on Fiverr, I've assisted over 200 clients with startup fundraising, pitch deck refinement, investor outreach strategies, and custom investor databases. In addition, I'm an advisor to a New York-based investment company affiliated with a $60 billion fund. The fund focuses on various sectors, particularly income-producing real estate, with capital requirements for projects typically ranging from $10 to $20 million. These projects are selected based on their cash flow and growth potential. You can find out more about my services by clicking my Fiverr link below. So this video highlights sourcing startup capital from angel investors via micro venture capital firms, and it's updated for 2024. And this is a concept that I believe in and I've introduced to a number of my clients on Fiverr. I get contacted by a lot of clients that are looking for angel investor databases. Now I do have them, but the problem is most of them are LinkedIn based, so many people are uncomfortable using that as an approach, and it's just a more challenging way for you to present your information and even to make a introduction. Sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming, but this really focuses on how to reach angel investors by going through micro venture capital firms, because many of them are what I call hiding in plain sight. So firstly, what's the difference between a venture capital and micro venture capital? Well, typically the fund size and investment. Venture capitals usually deal with larger funds, often invest millions, and they focus on later stages, whereas micro venture capital deal with smaller funds, seed investments, often less than $500,000. In fact, the sweet spot can even be $25,000 to $100,000 if you're looking at micro venture capital. Strategy and portfolio. Venture capital, it's rigorous due diligence, invest in fewer startups with clear growth paths, whereas micro VCs are diversified, risk tolerant, and bets on newer startups. And that's one of the key things about VCs. Typically, you're going to see, and you're going to see my databases that show the sectors, and they really pinpoint on certain ones, and many of them are broader. Tech's a very popular broad one. But micro venture capital, they'll look at anything. So if your startup is looking for $50,000 and it's in a very, very small niche that isn't on the radar, micro VCs are great to approach. Involvement and support. Well, VCs are actively involved and often take board seats, provide strategic direction, whereas micro VCs, they're less direct, daily involvement, offer mentorship and introductions, but you're not going to find they have the rigorous guidelines and involvement that a typical VC would look at. So if you're looking to borrow 50,000, or not borrow, but raise 50,000 in funds, at the end of the day, you're borrowing it, aren't you? But if you're looking to raise $50,000 in funds, you don't want a whole bunch of protocol involved. You really just want the funds. You want them to believe in what you're doing, and you want to start working. So connecting with angel investors and using micro VCs as a gateway. And this again is a theory that I've long believed, and what's reinforced it is my database is generally for venture capital, micro venture capital, and I have them now available for my Fiverr clients. I go through all the websites of all the firms, and what I find when I look at the people and the partners involved, it really shows that they're all entrepreneurs. They're all people who have started up companies. Now when I say all, I mean the majority of them. So that's why it's really, really good to use micro VCs as a gateway to angel investors. Again, it's introducing the theory. Is reaching out to micro venture capital firms an effective way to connect with angel investors? I believe so, and many other people do as well. So this is highlighting the premise that micro VCs, led by founders, often have partners who are also angel investors. Makes sense. Overlap in roles, exploring the strategy and benefits. Micro venture firms led by founders may have partners functioning as angel investors. Of course they do. Shared interest in supporting investing in early stage startups? Yes, definitely. And aligning motivations of micro VC partners with those of angel investors. If two people are musicians, one plays the guitar and one plays the drums, they have an automatic connection and they want to help each other. And it works that way for venture capital and startups as well. The best person to raise capital from is somebody who's actually had to do it themselves, and that's really key in the whole process of looking for angel investing and looking for angel investor funding. And of course, shared networks. Micro venture capital firms and angel investors often operate within similar networks. I found this out when I was helping raise capital for a firm in the Middle East, and actually it was a Canadian firm when I was working in the Middle East. They asked me to help them a number of years ago. They were looking to raise $250,000 for a really unique, one-of-a-kind type of product, and it was one that was never duplicated. And actually what happened was I approached one VC firm that I knew really well, and I said, listen, I'm not sure whether you guys are in this, but would you look at it? And the first thing they said to me was, no, but here's who you should talk to. And it was great because we were able to get immediate interest for that company without having to jump through a ton of hoops. So again, networks established by successful entrepreneurs may include angel investors, and establishing connections within shared ecosystem for increased visibility. You've got to get out and make connections. And sometimes it's not putting a pitch deck in front of investors. It's actually connecting with them, trying to make connections, and then seeing where it leads you. And I've got a number of videos, especially my USA Seed videos. If you watch one of those, they're about 18 minutes, 19 minutes long, but they show the strategy of why you should not send your pitch deck out in the very beginning. So it's well worth watching if you're just getting ready to raise funds in 2024. Investor syndication. So this is a big one. Micro venture capital firms engage in syndication, pooling resources with angel investors. It's like an angel group, but it's a little bit different. It's formed in different manners. They still raise funds, but it's generally via angel investors. Startups connecting with micro VCs tap into networks inclusive of institutional and individual angels. So you can get the angel side, and you can get larger groups that could be looking, and they could be, let's say, corporate VCs, which are always looking to support the mothership, as they say. And then collective funding through syndication provides diverse support for startups. Strategic alignment. Micro VCs, often led by founders, again, part of angel investors. Understanding challenges and opportunities faced by early startups and micro VCs as valuable partners in the fundraising process. Many times you're going to meet a micro VC who's just really great at wanting to connect you with someone else that's part of their network, and it makes a lot more sense than going into a traditional VC where the walls and the doors are big and wide, and it's really hard to get into. Access to expertise. Again, micro venture capital firms bring more than just capital to the table, offering valuable expertise, mentorship, and industry insights. Angel investors associated with micro VCs share commitment beyond financial investment. And co-pilot, supporting points. So co-pilot perspective, reaching angel investors. Angel investors primarily active in the pre-seed and seed stages. Micro VCs managed by former venture capitalists and super angels. Again, a lot of times people that worked in venture capital firms, it's kind of like law firms where you get into a big law firm, you hate it and you want to get out and go out on your own and start up a smaller shop. Well, VCs are very much the same, and a lot of the micro VCs are formed by people who got into the higher ranks of venture capital and just were not happy with the process of why is it taking us so long to approve this fantastic funding when it should have been done in 2 weeks instead of 3 months. And then micro VCs invest in seed stage emerging growth companies with smaller fund sizes. Again, think $25,000 to $100,000. Here we go, micro ventures and smaller sums. Micro venture capital, micro VCs like micro ventures enable investment in smaller sums. Access to companies that might be overlooked through traditional investing, expanding opportunities for investors to engage with startups at different funding levels. Now, there's some key considerations when using micro venture capital firms. One is, while connecting with micro VCs can increase your chances, it doesn't guarantee investment. Success depends on factors like business visibility, the strength of your business plan, and market potential. And exploring multiple avenues is advisable when seeking investments. I have over 400 videos on YouTube on venture capital databases, how to do pitch decks, how to do business plans, and it's worth taking a look at, because while approaching somebody on the micro VC is going to be higher, I guarantee if you're looking for $25,000 to $100,000, this should be your real focus. But it's not going to guarantee success. You still have to have a good business plan. You still have to have a good pitch deck. So where to find angel investors? Well, there's three key areas. One, traditional research, exploring platforms like LinkedIn, participate in investor forums, and attend angel investor networking groups. Those are usually going to be local for direct connections. Angel groups are really one of the best sources. The second way is collaborative investment through angel groups, collective pools of individual angel investors, and I've got angel investor or angel group databases mainly for the US that I've refined, and it's probably one of the best sources. If you're looking for capital in the US in 2024, I've got 2 or 3 databases that are really perfect for you. And then micro venture capital firms, again, targeting funding through micro VC firms specializing in smaller capital requirements, suitable for businesses at various growth stages. Now, I recently created a video. It was a basic micro venture capital database case study for a USA client. The reason I'm putting up this slide is if you want to take a look at that shows you just a little bit of the process. Now, I'm going to show you the spreadsheet database that I used in that case. So if you already watched that video, you can just skip the rest of the presentation. But if you haven't seen it, I'm going to show you the database part of what I did for this client just coming up. So let's take a look at the database. So now we're over on the spreadsheet part, and this is what you would get if you ordered this database from me via Fiverr. And just to start off with, you can see as I scroll down to the bottom here, we're going to end up with about 813 contacts. So you get the firm name, the location. This is mostly USA, Canada, UK, and Europe. That just happens to be where most of the micro VCs are. There's a bit of Asia in there, a bit of South America, but for the most part, you are looking at those major areas. The type, all micro venture capital. In other words, on their profiles, they have listed themselves as a micro venture capital. All the websites, 640 LinkedIns. You're getting all the emails. Now, these emails are going to be corporate emails, so info at, hello at, admin at, pitch at, business plans at, so on and so on. But you can definitely go to their website and usually find contacts. Now, if you look at previous database videos I've made, and again, I'm referring to the USA ones that I recently, I think there's about 35 of them. Just click on to one of them. They're long videos. They're about 20 minutes long in some cases. But they're going to teach you how to actually do outreach, and I'm going to cover off a little bit more of that in 2024. But the strategy is that you should not be sending your pitch deck to these people on the very first meeting or the first outreach. There's a strategy, and again, I'm going to touch on it to get more because it needs a lot more information for people who are doing their first time fundraising. You actually want to build a relationship with them first and then start to do your pitch later. There's lots of information I can give you on that. Again, sectors, a lot of fintech, a lot of tech, a lot of AI. Definitely AI is going to be very big. Now, AI typically tends to be more venture capital related rather than micro venture capital, just due to the amount that is needed to launch these. A lot of e-commerce, a lot of mobile apps, a lot of internet, a lot of SaaS. So there's a lot of opportunities for you there if you're in those areas. And every single one of these contacts is going to have a description. For example, Alpine Meridian is a New York-based early-stage venture firm focused on the internet, digital media, fintech, data software, and commerce. Now, one of the things that you will note, and I mentioned it in the video, is that typically the micro venture capital groups are willing to look at a wide range of sectors. So don't worry if your startup is what you would call in a very narrow sector. Don't let that bother you. These are the type of firms that are also full of founders and CEOs and senior people who are angel investors. Remember that angel investors are usually hiding in the weeds, and you shouldn't. The best way I actually like to tell founders, if you're looking to contact an angel investor, head for the pre-seed and the micro venture capital firms. They're full of them. So that's just a bit of a tip. So that's the database that I was able to source for the USA-based client. And again, these were all cleaned and validated. I use millionverifier.com. That's millionverifier.com. And they were actually cleaned on December 30th of 2023. So they're going to be really helpful for you if you're fundraising in 2024. For more information on my databases and fundraising services, click my Fiverr link below. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.